What's good? Welcome back to Agitator. I'm really hyped for this. It's the return of the gangster. It's been, I counted, I said it the other day. Well, I didn't count. I just went back and checked when the last time was. Was it
2022 was the last.
2022,
Yeah.
December? The last time we had you on, they were trying to cancel our ass because of all this shit that you said. You just can't keep your mouth shut. If
Most
you,
controversial figure in the lit community.
That's right. That's who we have on the show today. Grant Wamack, extreme horror edgelord Grant Wamack,
You know what it is.
writer of the most erotic, gratuitous sex scenes.
Yeah, pick it up. You'll be aroused and titillated for sure.
I'm
So,
always titillated. I feel weird that the homie writes this shit. I'm like, yeah, that's a good job. Good job, Grant. God damn it. This is awkward. Yeah. We're here talking about Scavengers Reign, ironically, a not very horny show, but a really good show otherwise.
great show.
What are your overall impressions?
Um, I love it. I've had a hard time describing it to people because the premise itself is simple. We've heard it a million times, like a group of people get stranded on a foreign planet and they're trying to survive and get back to their ship and go home. But that's not it. When I think of impressions, like it's full of wonder. Like I really think about the word wonder and imagination, color, and originality. I know a lot of people say, oh, nothing's original, nothing's new, but this feels fresh. It feels vibrant. And it's a weird contrast because it's so vibrant, but it's so bleak at the same time. It's
Yeah,
always danger. Yeah, I don't know, it's hard for me to compare it to anything. It's just amazing to me.
it is an odd tone because, like you said, it's like it's full of wonder. It's very curious. Everybody in I like how all the characters kind of approach things going, wonder what this does. Let
Yeah.
me cut it open or let me like put my face in it or something.
Yeah.
To a lot of different effects. Sometimes they get like a terrible skin condition or they die, or sometimes
It
it's
heals the skin condition, you know?
exactly. You never know. So my big quibble with like sci-fi shit is when it gets obsessed with the tech and wants to explain how things work. And I like how Scavengers Reign feels like the creators know how shit works, but we have no idea. We're just watching people fuck around with shit.
Right. Yeah. Every single episode, I feel like it's weird because I feel like you get comfortable with a lot of shows. And I do feel like I got comfortable with this show, but every episode there's new like plant life, animal life, insect life. Even I feel like the landscapes and the environments, there's this sense of like danger. I don't know, the unknown every single time, which is it's impressive, like how much they can actually surprise you, and you can't really predict what's going to happen, who's going to survive, you know. So
I really didn't, speaking of predictions, I didn't see that ending coming.
me either.
Like it's a weird show, so it didn't seem out of left field for it to go in this very, I don't know, it wasn't like a sharp left turn necessarily. It was more that there's no build up. Like the tone is kind of level the whole time. Like you're kind of on edge,
Yeah, that's
but
a good way to describe it. It's very level in terms of like pacing, the action and events that happen. But then I do feel like there was a slight jagged like climb in the last three episodes or last two episodes, maybe three episodes. Things did feel like they were starting to intensify when everyone was starting to come
yeah,
together.
there's no little like when you watch the you watch the flat line and then somebody says a prayer or whatever, and then it's like beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep. There was no that. It was just flat line.
Yeah, that's really it's a crazy like plot structure, if you want to call it that. It's just kind of like, let's go get the fireworks. Let's take our time getting the fireworks, and then we're gonna shoot these fireworks.
I'm glad they did though, because the whole show it feels great. It's nice. It's hypnotic and like it's dark and it gets violent as shit quite frequently.
Yeah.
So it's not the violence is never shocking, but it's always like even in down key moments, there's some level of tension because you don't know what's a friendly creature, what is gonna like bite your head off, what kind of weather they're gonna encounter. There's like these
Yeah, the
glass
weather,
shards that just fly around
yeah,
and
the
will
glass
just
shot,
kill you.
the wind, when they went inside the sea creatures.
Oh, when they went inside the sea creatures was some of my favorite shit.
I love that. It was stress. I feel like every time there's always a moment where I feel like I can start to breathe. And I'm like, okay, they're finally safe. And then they're not safe. You know?
Yeah. They're like just rocking right around on these giant mushroom things. And then
Babies, the egg sacs.
yeah, the egg sacs. Those are crazy. What was your favorite little creatures or your favorite fauna or whatever?
Think about that. I know which ones I don't like, but
You didn't fuck with the hollow.
no, I hate the hollow. Hate the hollow. It's a nasty creature. I hate it. I want to shoot it. But I'm trying to think. I do like the where are the thing, like the face mask things they
Oh
wore.
yeah.
They went like into the underground and then they used it to float back up out of the ground. I thought that was pretty dope. Um, I really like the pool of water the lesbian girl went into to like
Mm.
heal her skin condition. I thought that was pretty dope. I don't know. What are yours?
I really liked that little Men in Black looking dude who's got like the tiny body and the big ass head and is all like he
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
that comes from I think he's like one of those little species on those when she finds the Ursula, she finds those little every time she sees some kind of spore or whatever, she just starts poking at it and shit. And
Ursula's a
then
brave thing because I feel like if me and you were in those situations, like I'd probably poke something with a stick, like because there's so much danger. These things just like suck on your hand, you know?
I feel like you and I would have made it back to that ship in like the first day because there'd have been all this shit and we'd have been, oh yeah, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. Let's just
I feel like that
keep
too. Yeah,
moving.
we wouldn't be sitting here fucking around exploring. Like that was cool. Like when she was in which one's Ursula again?
That's the botanist bitch. That's
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's what
yeah.
I thought. The botanist bitch. But yeah, when she was with the guy with the beard,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, she went into what did it look like? It looked like she was in these weeds forest, and she did touch the thing, and the colors lit up, and
Yeah, they got like
yeah, oh yeah, that was a
separated
very beautiful moment. Yeah, yeah.
and he's all like, "What are you doing in there? Why are you fucking around?"
Yeah, it's like we
And
got places. I feel like that would be us. We'd be like, we don't got time to like just be out here doing whatever.
yeah, just go poking mushrooms and shit. They've been
Yeah.
like they've been cautiously watching these little uh n- noodle horse things. I don't know what you call them. They look like they kind of look like you ever play Super Mario World 2?
I believe so.
The
What?
one where like that little thing with the has the eggs that it shoots out.
Oh, I know
Its
what you're
its
talking about. Yeah.
face shoots the
Yeah.
eggs out its face at you. This
Yeah.
yeah, Scavengers Reign feels a little bit Super Mario World 2.
I could see that. I can see that. Yeah, Super Mario World. I think the animation style is so different. It's hard for me to compare to other shows, but you're absolutely right. I do feel like we would have booked it for the damn ship. We would have taken some naps and just kept going.
Mhm.
I don't know what we would have survived off of for food, but you
That's
know,
why we'd have made it even faster. Like we got to
yeah,
get
because
out
I'm
of
like,
here.
I don't know if it's gonna kill me, make my skin break out, like what's gonna happen. And so, you know,
What did they eat actually?
I feel like there were some fruits, and they didn't show them eating all the time. Like I feel like there were some fruits. Old girl had Levi, and I feel like Levi was planning things, and
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
she got lucky in that regard. They didn't really show everyone else with it. I felt like they were eating plants and fruits, and they got
Yeah,
lucky.
probably.
Everything
Yeah, you
else.
just pick some berries and you go.
You just hope
You
they're
just
the right
hope.
ones.
You just hope it ain't a parasite like what ends up
Yeah,
inside of Sam.
poor Sam. Sam, I respect Sam. You know.
That was wild. The
Did you
whole.
think? Yeah, that I wasn't able to predict. I thought the survivor in the cabin or the little home, I thought she was good people. I was like,
I
finally.
did. I did too, and that's another thing I like about this show is that so like for people following like trying to follow along, if you ain't seen it, it is exactly just what Grant said, and then they're just trying to make it back to the wreckage of their ship. But they're on this planet that is like all this weird flora and fauna. It has its own ecosystem. So they're basically like trapped inside this very foreign, very dangerous ecosystem that is like a lot of things function as if they have some sort of technology, but it's all
Yeah, that's
organic based.
yeah, it's all organic. And I definitely think the writers are dope for doing that. 'Cause I feel like every episode they get you by giving you this false sense of like safety where you're like, finally they're safe. They're safe here.
Mm-hmm.
They're safe there. Like, oh, they're fine now. They're safe. And then some shit happens like when Sam wakes up and looks behind that curtain. I was
Yeah.
like, I thought maybe he's hallucinated. Maybe he's dreaming. He's probably just tripping. Yeah, that's
Yeah. That's where like a lot of I always beef with shit that has like non-trippy hallucination shit.
or like
But
make out where it's just a dream or
yeah,
just some
yeah.
drugs. Like,
But this one, it gets away with it because the most trippy shit is not a hallucination. And then whenever things are like, oh, this is so obvious on the nose, like with what's his name, Cayman, all of his shit with like he keeps seeing his estranged wife or his on again, off again, that little and but it's because the hollow thing is implanting all this shit in his head to try and like manipulate him.
yeah, yeah.
That's an interesting relationship though. So you didn't fuck with the hollow. What'd you hate about the hollow so much?
See, at first it confused me because I was like, okay, I do get we're all trying to survive at the end of the day. We're trying to do what we need to do as like animals. But the Hollow is just a nasty motherfucker in my case. Like the way he hypnotized him and like was fucking with his head in terms of like his relationship with Fiona and the love. And I feel like anytime he started to kind of like break out of it, he would just triple down and double down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He just feels like, I don't know, it's just like this gluttonous, because I'm like, he just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the size of a fucking dinosaur, towards the end. And I'm like, where does it end? Like, do you ever get satisfied? Because you saw the cave where there were just bodies and creatures slain, and it's just eating and eating and eating, just ravenous. I just hated like how manipulative the hollow creature was slash is. So that's my
It,
big. I just hate the manipulation and the gluttony. It almost felt like And then there are a few times I thought maybe like it cared about him, but then you realize it doesn't give a fuck at all, even when it took him inside.
I feel like there's a lot of things that this show it's it's refreshing to have a series come out that feels sort of timeless in
Yeah,
whatever its messaging is because there's a lot of things that happen that could be metaphors for multiple things. It's not
correct.
just this very obvious, very present statement on anything in particular. Cause that like that one, Cayman's relationship with the Hollow never really wavers. Once he's hypnotized and locked in, even in his moments of sobriety, he grows to he gets this kind of like what is it? Not Munchausen. What's that
Oh, Stockholm
style
syndrome.
he gets like some Stockholm
He
syndrome a
does.
bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of gets to a point of where he feels a little bit, I don't know if he feels maybe paternal towards it in a sense, but
Yeah, I could see what you're saying because I I feel like that it's almost like the way it projects Fiona over itself. It's almost like he's trying to take care of her through it, in some weird way.
yeah.
So I was ready. He's ready to kill some dangerous things for the Hollow. He's ready to go to war for the Hollow. He wants to make sure it's good. And I guess Hollow technically got him out of the ship. Um,
It did.
but it's kind of like you escaped one hell and just found yourself in a deeper hell. Like this little thing, you thought this cute little thing was nice, but no, it's hellish. So yeah,
who was your favorite character or what was your favorite arc? Because they all got different. I guess it's the same question, favorite arc or favorite character, because they're all kind of on their own path.
I like a lot of them. I do like Sam, but like very respectful. I like the botanist bitch. She was cool enough. What's the black girl's name?
Asa.
Asa.
Ace.
I like
Yeah.
Asa.
Ozzy, not Asa. Ozzy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who's my actual favorite. Honestly, out of everyone, probably Levi, the robot.
Bro, this is a show. This is a show about Levi and his quest to become sentient.
His quest for individuality and consciousness.
Which again isn't like when you start talking about what this show is, it sounds like every single sci-fi cliche,
It does, but
but
it's not. Yeah, I'm just like you have to watch it because it's not what you think because when I heard the premise of the show, I was kind of like, okay, I know what I'm getting into, but you don't. Like even Levi, like you said, you could make the argument this is about Levi and his individuality and his consciousness and his sentience. And it's so different with like the organic shit that gets in his mainframe and his system that helps him become conscious. It's like I've never really seen that in a book or a show or
no.
yeah,
Yeah. No, it's always some kind of like abstract idea of consciousness where that I never really buy. Like, I can watch iRobot where the robot becomes charming and like he has his own personality or whatever, but
I feel
there's
like
no
uh,
explanation beyond
yeah, it just
like
sort of happens.
it just sort of happens. So I'm like,
This
this
one
dude's
robot in a
just
million. Yeah.
yeah, he's just programmed to be this, I guess. Like, nah, I'd still shoot his ass in the face. Fuck that robot. But
But
uh,
Levi was kind of like, oh, you actually are becoming something more than just a robot. And even I like how, what's her name? Ozzy
mhm.
respects his autonomy over time. Or I guess technically her autonomy. I don't know. Maybe this is a they.
Levi?
Yeah. Because Levi was programmed off the girl she liked. But then I feel like Levi moves kind of like a guy.
Mm, yeah. Yeah,
We,
she just cranked the Dyke dial up a bit with but nah, Levi moves like a dude
yeah,
and
that's
he
like,
gets
like the way he moves and he gets things done, like not to be, you know, sexist,
oh, we
but
gonna go there. We-
but he definitely moves like a guy, you know. Um,
yeah, I just like how everything all of the change that occurs with everybody, with Sam, with it all comes from physical interaction. None of it is just this it's all very interesting and it's all like, oh, I haven't quite seen that done before. I mean, we've seen parasite shit before, like with
yeah,
Sam, but like, um, it's always done in an interesting way. Even that's kind of deceiving because you think, oh, this chick in the woods, this old lady in the woods who knows like the ways of the forest and all this,
she's
uh,
healing him. They're going out
mhm,
and getting the little purple plant things, and you know, I was like, oh, she knows what she's doing. And then once you see her poke the little hole in the little thing in his chest, I was like, what is that? I was like, oh, it must be some super healing seed plant,
mhm,
you know.
mhm. It's a whole ass parasite.
Right.
It's like, yeah, this is gonna keep you alive, and then you're gonna go crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna cure your arm. I don't have to put this parasite in you, but I got to.
I'd have been like, cut my arm off. What the fuck?
Right. And the botanist girl had no idea. She was over there just chilling, sleeping in the next room. Like everything's cool, you know. You know, she was respectful in the woman's home. She didn't look beyond the curtain. But Sam was like, "What's going on back here?" You know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad he did. You
No,
know.
yeah, I like Sam. I feel for Sam, but I do feel like he had uh, maybe the best ending of them all. How he just kind of you you felt the most resolution with him at least. Like,
Yeah, it's very virtuous. Where it's kind of like, he's under that tree, you know, and all that. And is he the one who gets buried?
did they bury him? They might have. Yeah.
Because there was an old burial for, and I guess they got lucky, and I think Sam was buried in the same spot. Remember the lady in the cabin? She
Right.
had
Yeah.
buried like the guy,
Yeah.
uh, and made like a little memorial for him. But yeah, it was just crazy. Like, yeah, Sam probably the most resolution because you actually see what happens. He made a sacrifice for like the botanist and gave the codes and it was like, make it to the ship. You gotta get to the ship,
Mm-hmm.
save everyone. I trust you. And she was like, I got it. You
Yet
know,
another sci-fi cliche. The
yeah,
captain doesn't make it, and it's
the
like you.
captain
It's
does.
all on you now. You got this. But it's done in a way that feels like, and I feel like this is where the spin, like the twist of this show that separates it from shit like Alien or whatever. In Alien, you are like, get the fuck off that planet. But in Scavengers Reign, you're like, I don't know. I feel like y'all could figure it out, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I do feel like in Scavengers Reign, you do feel like they can actually figure it out. They might fuck around and get it done, you know, because they do fuck around a lot and figure it out, like
Yeah.
for the
They
most part, you know.
I mean, it's a lot of trial and error. There's some people that get pretty fucked up. Like what was your what'd you feel about the motives of the the Raider clan that comes to the planet?
Cargo shit, the Cargo Raider clan.
Yeah.
Well, I can call them Raider clan. As if like Denzel Curry is leading the
Yeah,
team.
yeah. Well, nah, because the black guy lost the
Yeah,
whole. I like their method of who gets to be the leader is they just breathe real fast. Like
Yeah, it was
only
so weird. Like, but I do like that because you could tell they have an established, you know, communication style, which is really dope. Because I was like, oh, we're just gonna breathe and pass out. Like, okay. Um,
it's like what they're only breathing in and out their mouth and until like
that's what I was trying to figure out because I was thinking about, I was like, I don't think I'd pass out in that
yeah, I
situation.
feel like I'd definitely be the leader.
Yeah. But they must be breathing extra hard because the way they were passing out. Um, I had weird feeling because obviously they did come as if they were like gonna help. Um, but I also feel like it's a cool like contrast to everyone else because there's the one leader who I thought was like a lesbian. Um, and then there's Barry, and then there's the other guy. What's his name? Terrence? Something like
Racist. Terrence
yeah.
Howard. His name is Terrence Howard.
What's a black name? Terrence Howard. I saw him on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's a yes, the classic
House on the Floor. I just watched that. Terrence Howard.
cliche
Uh,
black name
yeah,
Terrence.
Terrence.
I don't remember his name.
Yes, it did make me hate the leader of the group. Like I understand because it's kind of like it fits, but it's kind of like, oh, they're sitting here trying to get the cargo. It's worth some money. They could get back home. Everyone's trying to get back home, essentially.
Hmm.
But I do like how they fuck around and they find out because they're so confident and cocky that it's like, oh, we're just gonna go to the ship. We're gonna get the cargo and we're out of here. Like,
And then Chris really is evil. I feel like I was like, I get it. You just
yeah,
gotta be.
you get it. But once you see the way Chris moves, like,
Yeah. Once she's there, once she has the opportunity
man,
to
so
not
fucked
be,
up
yeah.
every time. Like evil. I feel like if she didn't have Barry around or
Which
Terrence,
which is crazy. She continues, or I guess I don't know. She had the both of them, so it was kind of like you're just kind of putting up with Barry, or I don't know how long Barry would have lasted just with her.
yeah, I don't know either because the way how cutthroat she is, and then were you surprised when the Hollow fucked up their ship?
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew something I knew something was coming
Yeah, I knew
because
it. Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be easy breezy for them.
everything was going too smooth. But then, yeah, out comes Dinosaur Hollow to just like, and that scene was so something this show does really well is you get this just kind of weird feeling because you're seeing so many things at the same time. Like so much shit is kind of zoomed out on kind of like a painting that's full of shit happening.
That is true. They do these amazing, like every shot is so vibrant and alive, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, a lot. Like it's moving like all over. There's all these things moving in one frame. And whenever the hollow shows up, there's no like dramatic zoom in on like the
Oh, it's kind of like a dramatic, like the music doesn't become more dramatic,
no, he just
like here's the hollow, and
yeah,
the hollow's about to fuck some shit up.
pops into the cryo chamber and just like that it was just like soul crushing because there are these some people are dead in their cryo little sleep things, but a lot of them are alive and you're like holy
Yeah,
shit.
like they
And
might
the
actually be able to revive them. That's what I was thinking because the way the hollow was still some other areas of shit, I was like maybe they could put the code in time, and I was like I could see how this would set things up for season two because there's a lot more people.
and then he just kills
Oh,
like a
the
dozen
fucking
people.
hollow.
He
Yeah,
just
tears out like the cables, the cords. That's also why I hate the Hollow because I'm like Hollow's just fucking everything up and everybody. Like, god damn, you know. So
You brought up music though, and I wanted to touch on the sound.
Close your eyes and picture a ball on a table. What color is it?
Dirty white, dark blue,
Pinky orange.
gray or white,
Slate blue. Who's red?
blue, basically a globe.
Was it red ball? I'm Jay Springett, and this is Experience.Computer, an interview show about creativity, perception, and expression. In 2022, I made a life-changing discovery. I have aphantasia, the inability to voluntarily create mental images in one's mind. For 36 years, I thought picture this was just a metaphor. Each episode, I guide my guests through a series of imaginative exercises and discuss how their inner visions shape their creative work and what they think about the tools they use to make their work with. This is a show about how we visualize, remember, and create. And I hope quite unlike any show you've heard before. Subscribe to Experience.Computer on Substack or wherever you get your podcasts.
Like there's not in an uncut gems, like everything is cranked up to 11 type of way, but in just a you do hear a lot of shit through it. There's like a lot of quiet moments where nothing's really spoken, but you hear footsteps, you hear little weird alien insects chirping and buzzing and all kinds of shit like throughout it. It has its own like kind of soundtrack of environmental atmosphere that I think lends a whole lot to the like
that's
hypnotic
a good
steady
point.
tone.
Yeah, I feel like it really sells it. It kind of just solidifies everything, makes it very cohesive because like you said, it kind of feels like a if you weren't watching it, it feels like a nature documentary.
Yeah.
You were like in the jungle or somewhere like really crazy and exotic. You always hear these creatures, you hear like chirps, and it does make you wonder, it's like, what is around the corner? What's in this forest? Like, what's next? Like, what is coming? Can you sleep in this area? Are you safe?
Mm,
Like, can you walk through this field? What is inside this field? What made that sound? Like, I'm not gonna lie, it would freak me out and it would make me move a lot faster through that space because I'm like, I don't know what just made that sound, but we need to keep moving. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a great writing tip too. Something that translates into the something to throw in the toolkit and or sharpen up is being aware of all senses. Because like that, like what are some things that sound can do? And one of them is like especially sound without sight
yeah,
that can invoke a lot of, I mean, either like curiosity or like fear, like deathly
yeah,
fear, like I don't want to go to sleep because I have no idea where this is coming from.
yeah. Because I do feel like with every media, even books, I think about this a lot. I feel like certain books that have all the sensory elements really elevate themselves over other books or pieces of media because it's kind of like, okay, you may taste this, you may feel this, but do you hear this? Can you smell this? Do you have that whole experience? Does it really immerse you? And this is really immersive television for sure. You know,
Yeah, yeah, no, it almost it feels closer to a book in that way that it tries to present a whole lot of different senses because you do obviously you can't touch anything like through the TV, but I mean you can't technically touch anything in a book either, but it does uh give you a lot of those feelings like the way that when they just shove their fist into some kind of plant pussy or whatever and they're just, like there's a
and
lot
you hear like the sucking and slurping
the
and
yeah this welching and yeah
yeah,
you go ooh, yeah felt that.
yeah, it does make you feel like, oh, I don't know if you should have done that. you know, um, everything. I'm like, I don't know if you should have done that, you know. Um, yeah, so it's just crazy. How did you feel about the with Chris, her whole like fear, like you know what I'm talking about? The oh, you know, fear is just weakness, or her whole like little philosophy where she almost like kills fucking Ozzy the car.
Yeah. Um, See, that's where I went back and forth on. Like, I was with her with that tough shit. It was only when she really only lost me when she saw all those people in the cryo chamber and was like, nah, we getting the fuck out of here. I was like, damn.
That's how I felt too, where I was like, because Barry was just like, yo, could we just help them real quick? We don't gotta like we don't gotta like feed them. We don't
Yeah,
gotta,
Barry was like, we could still leave them. We could still steal
yeah,
their ship.
like, let's just save them, you know? And I was like, yeah, yeah, Chris, how about we just save them real quick? Chris was like, fuck that. Fuck you too, Barry. Fuck everybody. I was just like, damn, you have no loyalty to nobody. Like,
Lack of loyalty.
yeah,
That's
you know, we don't do that here at BRB. Yeah.
that's no it makes the survivor instinct questionable too. It makes her whole philosophy questionable, where
Yeah.
she kind of is adopting like this toughness as like just a survival mechanism.
Yeah, you do make a good point because it feels fake, it feels hypocritical because there are a couple portions before that where she keeps talking about how they're a team and we need each other to survive. We need to lean on each other, trust each other. And it's like we can't even trust you, Chris. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're gonna leave everyone for dead. You know?
Yeah, it's like if you were a true survivor, you'd be thinking like if I save all these people, then I've got some
Yeah,
leverage over these
safety in
people.
numbers. Yeah, I just saved you. They'll probably do something for me. There's probably
Hmm.
five motherfuckers in the crew, like, you know, but Chris,
I don't know what her
I'm my
deal
second
is.
most hated. Hollow, Chris, you know?
I was like with Ozzy, I feel like she was one of the weaker characters for sure, just because in following her, we get a whole lot of cool imagery
There's a
and
lot of cool imagery. Yeah.
she is like, partnered up with Levi, who's like probably the best character in the show.
Yeah.
But she on her own is just like, okay, you're obviously smart enough, like you're smart and capable, but you're still so stubborn as to like not
She is very stubborn.
she wants so badly things to be one way, and it's the whole like you you want it to be one way, but it's the other way.
It is the other way. Yeah, yeah, that's a good, but I feel like that is good, like the writing where every character has their, you know, certain people are flexible, certain people are kind of dumb, some people are susceptible, you know, and she's stubborn. I feel like there's a lot of humanity in this show. Like, I feel like that's a big strength. They show the humanity of humans, where it's kind of like Ozzy, you're absolutely right, though. She is a weak character on her own. And Levi pretty much kind of helps her. If anyone had Levi, it would be a game. We had Levi. I feel like we'd make it. I'd be like, how many miles out? All right, let's go. You
Yeah.
know, like
I like too how he kind of just starts fucking with shit. Like she goes, "Hey Levi, I'm gonna need you to do this," and he's like, "Nah," and she's like,
he's like,
"What?"
nah, I'm playing with these little creatures,
Yeah,
these plants. You know, it's like Levi, do you need me to look at your damn? What's wrong with you? You know,
yeah. She goes, Levi, I'm going to check out your programming, and he's like, "Nah, I'd rather you not." Don't touch
I
me.
love it. Yeah, I love where he's like, "Don't ever do that again," and then she's like, "Okay, I promise I won't do that again." Um, it's so dope. What was I gonna say? Did you think Levi was gonna come back and be reborn?
No, I didn't see any of that
I thought
coming
he was
with
done. I was like, Levi's done. I actually got really sad and emotional when that happened to Levi. I was like, nah, not my nigga Levi.
well, and
Um,
then everything past that too. He
yeah,
like because he's fruitful at the end.
he
You're
is.
like,
Yeah, at
ooh.
the end, yeah, the way he comes back, he's like Super Saiyan Levi. You know?
I was like, okay, all right. Uh nah, it really one of the things like why I thought we should actually talk about it on the show is because you in the chat we were going back and forth about how inspiring it was. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, this unlocked some shit and some shit that I'm working on. So for you, what was that? Like what did Scavengers Reign unlock?
I think it's just like the. I think it's like the sheer originality and wonder. I'm big on wonder, even like with horror and like dark fiction. I always try to instill like a sense of wonder in there somehow, or like beauty in the darkness. So for me, with Scavenger's Reign, like the vibrancy, the originality, the colors, like the plant life, like I think it just reinstilled like there are real artists out there who are not trying to rehash the same like these are tried and true tropes of sci-fi, like you said. Um, but I feel like they do it in a fresh way where it's like it's everyone that I've recommended it to and watched, they're usually like, what the fuck? Like, what am I watching in the first episode? What did I just watch? So even that reaction tells you something where it's kind of like, this isn't something people are used to or fed normally. This is like, a restaurant that you've never been to. That's how I feel. And it just really like inspired me where it's kind of like, oh wow, this is real art. This is real. These are people actually trying to take a risk and do something dope and different. So whenever I see something like that, or like have these, like this show feels like an experience. Like every episode feels like a experience. Like if you were to travel to another country that you've never been to, that they don't speak your language, that's kind of like what it feels like, an experience. So just kind of really inspiring in that way.
Yeah, I feel like I was inspired by how fresh it felt and also that like on a practical level of like some things to lift from it were like how with plot like if you like lean into the cliches are fine. You can bury the cliche like the noticeability of like a tried and true trope of repeated genre cliche.
Yeah,
You can really cleverly bury that shit. Like you can use it as some good bone structure
you
to
really can.
throw
Yeah.
to throw on like especially if you got some way off the wall different ideas to throw in there and layer on top of it, then you don't got to worry about fucking with like reinventing the plot, like trying to come up with, a brand new, well, this is just a cliche story. It's like that don't really, if the plot isn't where you're innovating, but you have all these crazy ideas and you're intimidated by how to put that, like, well, how do I don't want just a like typical structure. It's like, no, the typical structure is fine. Like throw
Yeah.
some, like just throw it on top of some tropes it's gonna not even really be noticeable until at the end people are trying to describe it and they go, well, I mean, I guess it's kind of like Alien and iRobot and fucking Starship Troopers. Not really. It's not really like Starship
Yeah,
Troopers, but
yeah.
some shit like that.
Yeah, it's so hard to like throw it in a box where I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm like, what is Scavengers Reign like? And I can't really say, because I'm sure there's some movies and shows where people get stranded. Like, there's a lot that people get stranded places, but they don't feel like that, you know. But
Lost
that's a
in
good point.
Space,
Yeah, Lost in Space for sure.
Muppets from Space.
It's from Freddy and Jason in space.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason X. It's a little bit like Jason X. You're
But you're right. That's a good point. You do make a good point because I didn't really think about that. Like there's so many like cliches and tropes that I know a lot of writers would be scared to even do, but you don't even like you said, they're buried in like originality and like I don't know what I want to call like pure vision, where almost every episode there's cool shit happening back to
Mhm.
back that you're so immersed you don't think, oh, I've seen this before, or like, oh, here comes the whatever trope, here comes the whatever cliche. You know, I never felt like that in any episode. I was just kind of like, wow, every single episode, multiple times, you know, and I definitely want like readers to feel that way too, where it's kind of like, I didn't expect that. Like, wow, that was an experience, you know?
Yeah. I feel like they pulled it off because they had the ideas and then just kind of put it on top of, a basic, several different basic
Yeah,
sci-fi storylines
yeah,
versus like the reverse that you see a whole lot in the horror genre, like especially where it's like they can't like a lot of people who love genres and not so much have ideas just want to write Friday the 13th. And it's like that. I mean, they're like,
yeah.
I want to write Cujo. You're like, that already exists.
Yeah, I'm like, why
Like,
do you want to write it again? You
yeah,
know,
you
you're gonna
could,
switch a few things and just write it in your style. Like, don't you want to do something cool and different? You know?
yeah, versus like having some wild ideas and then being like, oh, I can throw this on a Rosemary's Baby plot. And that's how I'll be able to present these ideas.
Yeah, that's what I think about all the time. Like, I always think if a studio came to me, I'd want to write something that builds onto the lore or the legacy. Like, if they asked me to write Puppet Master, it'd be Puppet Master number 20 and a new installment in there. Or like Friday the 13th, it'd be a totally different movie in there. Like it wouldn't just be I'm gonna rewrite it and do the same plot from 10 years ago. Like let's remake it a third time. No, you know, let's add onto it. Let's put some meat on there, you know,
Yeah.
like
Take some Chicago drill shit and then throw it on top of
oh shit. Yeah.
a Jason
Probably
Bourne.
what I would do is Jason in Chicago. He moves to Chicago. You
Have
know,
some more cosmic monsters in there.
yeah, you know. Or I could see you writing the next like Hellraiser, you know, but it would be a different Hellraiser, Hellraiser in Texas, you know.
Which isn't exactly what it's more it's beyond just transplanting the trope to a
That's
different
true. To a different location.
setting. It's like I guess my big lesson with it, because I'm one of those, and I think probably a lot of listeners might be one of these types of creators too, where they get so hung up on, man, that's been done before, that it's like it hasn't. You can do what millions of people have done before, but in a fresh way. It's like you'll hold
And
on
you
to your fresh
respond it.
ideas.
Yeah, there's always a fresh. I feel like your background and your experiences, even like me plugging about the plug bullet tooth. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people compare it to Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think it's fresh, it's different, it's a different villain I've never read before. It's familiar, but it's different, you
No,
know?
that's actually a good example because it's easy to pitch because you can go, well, it's kind of like Candyman, Hellraiser, but when you're actually reading it, you're like, oh, this ain't
Yeah,
really
there's
like
different.
Candyman. This
Yeah,
no, that's actually a really good example. Bullet Tooth, Grant Wamack, BrokenRiverBooks.com.
yeah, pick that up. Um, but yeah, you make some good points. This is making me think about Scavenger's Reign in some deeper ways. Even how you point out like the plot structure, where it is very. I feel like there's these little nooks and crannies. Every episode is level until the last few, and it just goes, you know.
It,
Um, but it works.
it's
Like,
yeah. I don't know where. I don't know how. I think maybe when there becomes more talking, like everything feels so isolated up to that point. The characters are off. Like Sam and Ursula got thrown on this side of the planet, and
yeah,
then Levi and Ozzy are like planting shit over here, and then Cayman is all by himself with the Hollow fucking
hovering
around
all
with
over
him.
the damn planet, you know.
Yeah. And so then when the scavengers get or the raiders get there, it becomes louder that everybody's starting to converge and there's more people. They're chattering a whole lot more. So, and then everything like the tension is ramping up and like the danger is becoming more prevalent. But I don't know if it's because I feel like it's very much a sound thing. Like it's there's more talking
Yeah, I feel
because
like, yeah, this piece of media is kind of like they do. I feel like they utilize everything to the full extent, where it's kind of like sound, art, animation, like the dialogue, the plot, the movement, everything moves together like flawlessly from episode to episode, you know.
what I took from that, what it does with sound is that like I've always been conscious of several different like senses. I feel like I mix a lot of different senses in my writing. Um Scent being one of the big ones actually, but sound, I've used it a lot as setting. I've been conscious of it as like this is the sound of this place. Like, I'm gonna throw some sounds in here and you're gonna know like, oh, I feel the vibe of this place or whatever. But this has me thinking like, oh, you can utilize sound to like what you said, like to invoke like a kind of fear, like not just okay, sound is setting, but like sound is emotion.
That's a good point. Yeah, because you're right. They definitely do that in horror a lot, where sound's so important, where you hear a thud, where you hear like a loud noise, or you hear like a soft noise, you hear like a cry or a moan, and you're like, what the fuck is that? You know? But they do utilize that pretty amazingly in the show. But I also feel like in your books in general, God is wearing black, plugging that. Uh, is that even available for people to buy? Is that?
Not a single book of mine is available. Go to ebay.com and
Well, I guess buy Kelby's other books.
Dead
But
Boy,
yeah,
Dead Boy is available.
yeah, Dead Boy is available. Don't you have some other things available?
Nah, I took them all out of print.
Well,
Amazon pissed me
damn,
off.
that's
And
great. Yeah. Oh yeah,
I
you
got
want to give
other
me.
I got other
Um,
ideas.
well, Kelby's books that you can find, I
They're
guess that
floating out.
as of now, and look on eBay and Abe Books.
You could go
I feel
pirate
like
it
they're
off some
very,
Russian site.
yeah, you can buy, yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, they're very sensory. I feel like your shit's so sensory heavy, which really makes it immersive. And you do use sound and smell and like texture, and it's a great effect. So yeah.
Appreciate you, bro. Any other final thoughts on Scavengers Reign or
just think everyone should watch it, even if you don't like the guy I work with, he watched it, he loved it. He was just like, what the hell? Like, his girlfriend started watching it with him, and she doesn't even watch this stuff, but she was loving it.
I feel
I
like it's
think,
one you could watch with your girl for some
yeah,
reason. I don't,
actually, you're right about it. Like, it is weird, but it's not like the off-putting weird.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely something you can watch with your girl for sure. Uh, but yeah, I feel like everyone should watch it. I mean, the more people watch it on Netflix, the higher likelihood we'll get a season two. And I want a season two so badly.
Ooh, I like how like you know how a general trend in TV now seems to be let's try and end this. So if we don't get picked back up, we have some kind of
Oh
resolution.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
like nah,
No,
cliffhanger.
you're in the shit. And
Yeah.
like, okay, we made it back to the ship. Things have happened. Fucked up shit. What happens next? What are we gonna do?
And they
You know?
tease you, they give you a
Oh
little
yeah, they
taste
do.
of
They
what's to
do. They show you
come.
Chris. They show you what happened to her. And you're like, what the fuck is, and that's another like crazy thing. It's like, how did that happen? And who are these like demon monk things? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, all right, we got to get a season two.
And I was like, I know these writers are so good. I know they have a plan for season two. They probably have a plan for season three already. Like,
I was trying to find more information about the crew, but couldn't. And I don't know if that's just lack of research skills on my part, or I know Titmouse is the production company, which did, I think they weren't they the Adventure Time people? Nah, they did Venture Bros, Metalocalypse, Super Jail.
I've done some things for like Adult Swim. I never would have thought those Metalocalypse. I used to watch that. Um,
Super
yeah,
Jail, I can really see.
I've only seen a couple episodes. So I can't even really remember Super Jail.
Well, Super
But
Jail is like a Where's Waldo of nasty, like fucked up, gory prison shit.
oh, I see
But,
what you
but so Scavengers Reign isn't like that crowded frame by
It's not,
frame.
but I could kind of see now that you're breaking that down, Super Jail, when I think about Metapocalypse, it's pretty different. What's the other show they did? Adventure
They did
Bros?
Venture Bros.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess all of those do try to are kind of out of the box, but Scavengers Reign is probably the most, I don't know what you want to call it. I guess like mainstream or like
It's the most
for the
mature.
book they call it like the most literary, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's the grown up version of all of that
That's
shit.
true. Grown up is a good word for that. It's the most grown up, most serious, you know. Interesting. Titmouse. Huh. You know. I thought this was just like some crazy crew that just came together and knocked it out the park and got lucky and got an Emmy nomination.
Well, I mean, that's the production or the animation studio. Uh it's also Green Street Pictures, so I don't know anything about that. So I don't it seems like there was some kind of did you get to watch the short film that it's based on?
No, I forgot about. Did you watch it?
I did.
Is it good?
And yeah, it's good. And what I think happened was whoever these dudes are who made that short film and this show, I think they kind of had the short film and then Titmouse was kind of like
Oh, I
we
see
can
what you
do some shit
were
with
like.
this.
This is a pretty dope short film. You need
Yeah,
to let's turn this into a show. How
because
long
the
is the short film?
it's like 7 minutes.
Oh, 7 minutes. Is it basically like the show or?
Yeah, yeah, it's like a speed run of the idea of the show.
Oh,
There's like two human characters and they're on this same planet and it's a lot of that like experiment like fucking around with shit and then like weird biotechnology and
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
It's like, yeah, but it is noise. The difference is uh, like I was saying, there's a whole lot of sound, like ambiance to Scavengers Reign all throughout, but it's
yeah.
not in that assault you, uncut gemsy kind of way. The short film is like uncut gems type. It's
Oh,
like noisy as shit.
damn. I have to watch that then.
Yeah, yeah, I'd recommend it. It's like free on Vivo, whatever the
Oh,
fuck.
okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Where can people find you? What do you want to plug?
People can find me on Amazon. All my books are still there. Graham Wamack, Wamack. God's Leftovers, Bullet Tooth, Black Gypsies, you know, uh, all dope books. Pick them up, Broken River, you know the game. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Just search Graham Womack. I think it's Graham Mirage, but just search Graham Womack. You'll be able to find me
You'll
everywhere.
find him.
Yeah,
Ain't no other Grant Womack.
yeah. I'm the only one.